Hey guys, it's just Waverly today, and I am doing my 2023 reading wrap-up. So the first book I half listened to, half read is The Cruel Prince, and that led me down a big rabbit hole. This is actually kind of the series that got me back into reading, because I had this phase a few years ago when I read a lot and did the whole Harry Potter series and a few other books, but then I kind of had a year slump technically, and then these got me back into it. So The Cruel Prince was the first book of the year, which was kind of in April, because this isn't really the whole year, but it's just I read 3 books the first half of the year, and then the rest of the half of the year. The second book is Once Upon a Broken Heart. I said that weird. Once Upon a Broken Heart. This series is also very good. And this also helped get me back into reading. They're both fantasy with a little bit of romance. They're both enemies to lovers, I think, kind of. So that's always fun. The third book is Cursed by Marissa Meyer. This is the second book in a series, and this was pretty good. It wasn't my favorite, but yeah, it was kind of a slow read. The fourth is Alex Rider, Eagle Strike. So this is a part of a series, a really long series. There's more than however many's on the back. And it's about a teenage spy for MI6. And it's really good if you want a cute YA spy kid thing. The next 2 books I read were The Wicked King and The Queen of Nothing. This is when the series really gets good, because we've stopped all the world building and we get more into the plot and the bigger things and just better stuff. These 2 are really good. And also, I didn't say it's Nope, not Holly Jackson, Holly Black that wrote these. The next thing I read was Jane Austen's Pride and Prejudice. This is not just Pride and Prejudice. That's not that long of a book. It's 3 of Jane Austen's books, but I only read Pride and Prejudice, and that was really good. And then we watched the show of it. I don't remember which one, but it was really good. The movie of Pride and Prejudice is just sad. It does not follow the book at all. I'm sorry for anyone who likes that version. It's not good. The next book I read is The Ballad of Never After. This one, it took me a little bit to get into, but I actually started really reading it and I appreciated it a lot more, and it was just so good once I actually read it. But yeah, I got distracted for the first quarter of the book, but it's just really good, especially the second half. The second half is beautiful, and the romance is so good. This next book is probably one of my favorites of the year. This is 5 Survived by Holly Jackson. I annotated the second half of it. I don't know why I only started the second half, but I did. And I wrote my little ideas of how it ends, because this is a mystery thriller, technically. It's probably YA. I'm not actually sure. Love Holly Jackson's writing, and she just makes a good book. The next book I read is House of Salt and Sorrows. This is not my favorite, but it's interesting. There's this is basically a 12 Dancing Princesses retelling in a lot darker of a story, where most of the girls the older girls start dying off, and they think it's a curse. And then the one girl, the main character, I forgot her name, she tries to solve why everybody's dying or break the curse or whatever, and it's a whole thing. The next book is The Stolen Heir. This is a pretty fun book. It's also by Holly Black, and it's comes after The Cruel Prince, but you can read it without having read The Cruel Prince. It's just in the same universe, and you might get a little bit of a spoiler here and there, but it's not too big of spoilers. And this one was really good, although it could have used a little more something. It was a little bit dry, I guess you could say, but it was still a very good read. I love Oak. Oak is very good. And I don't like the ending. The ending was sad and annoying. They're coming out with a second book. Maybe a third. I'm not sure. But hopefully the plot gets better. The next book I read is Spy School Project X. I got into this series a few years ago, and I collected all of them until this one. This one was the newest. They actually have another one, Spy School Goes North, but I haven't read that one. This one, I got most of the way through it and then couldn't finish it, so I audiobooked the rest of it because it was really childish at this point to me. I thought, I don't know. It was still good. I loved the whole series. The whole series was fun, and I had a good time reading it, but this last one, not my favorite. The next book is The Brothers Hawthorne. This is going to be a duology, I think. Not a true, I don't know. It's probably not going to be 3 books, just 2. And this is the spin-off series, technically, of the Inheritance games. It has the same characters, different point of views, and a very different plot. This book is way too thick. It could have been way shorter, and you could have gotten the whole point across with it being much shorter. But it was still a good read. It was fun, but it was dragged out way too long. I got halfway through and got bored, so I went on to a different book, and then came back to this, and then went to a different book, and then I finally finished it. But it was good. I love the characters in it, so that made the book itself good, but the plot just wasn't there. Next book I read was Legendary. This is a really fun series and magical. I love the magical feel of these books. This is the second book of Caraval, and these come before the Once Upon a Broken Heart and Ballad of Never After series, because they're in the same world but different times, I think. So yeah, there's a lot of years between Legendary or the Caraval series and the Once Upon a Broken Heart series. Although they're in the same world, they're very different. So Legendary and Caraval are about the games of Caraval in this magical world, and there's so much going on. There's like mystery kind of the game, because there's so much going on. There's so much fake and some real stuff. In the second book, this one, there's a lot more real stuff going on than fake, and we don't know that until like, well, actually, I kind of picked up on that the whole time, but the main character doesn't know that for a long time, and she does get warned, like a lot. Every 2 seconds, she gets warned about it not being as fake as the first game. The first game was pretty much everything was fake. Not everything, but a lot of the things were fake, and it was just the show. But this one, there was an actual game, and there was a lot more going on, and there was a romance, finally, and we get a character, Jax, in this book, and then we also get him in the Once Upon a Broken Heart. He's the main character, second main character in the Once Upon a Broken Heart, and he's amazing. I love him. And the Once Upon a Broken Heart series does spoil a little bit of the things that happen in this. If you want to read both of them, you should read this first. Caraval, Legendary, and Finale. I haven't read Finale yet, unfortunately. So the next one I read is in the same world, is The Curse for True Love. So this is a good book, but it was disappointing. I would have loved it to have so much more of Jax in it, but it didn't. It had too much of another character that we can't name. It was a really good book. Don't get me wrong. I read it in 4 days. That's the fastest I've ever read a book in my life. So that says something about the book. But yeah, this is a really good book. The series is wonderful. I love the whole series. I love the world, the fantasy, the magicalness of the world, and all the characters are so amazing. This one just fell a little flat. The next book I read was The Red Queen. I think I read this in a time I shouldn't have read it, because I didn't love it. I didn't get into it as much as I should have. I'm actually listening to the audiobook of the second one now. What are you doing? So this is a dystopian world, I think, and it has silver and red bloods, and the silver-blooded people have magical powers, and the red-blooded people are supposed to not, but our main character finds out she has powers, and then everything happens. She gets sent to the royalty, and she gets in there, and then a whole bunch of stuff happens, and it was good. I think I just read it at the wrong time, so I didn't enjoy it as much as I could have. The next book I read is The Kingdom of the Wicked. This is also not my favorite book ever. It was good. The romance, although there wasn't a whole lot of actual romance, it was just banter. That was fun sometimes, but this wasn't my favorite book ever. There was too much stuff, unimportant stuff going on. At the beginning, there was like 50 pages of her talking about food and recipes, and we didn't really need that. We could have used one page, and that was it. But yeah, it's good. I'm going to continue the series, and I've been told that the third book is the best out of the series, so I'm hoping I can just get to that one. And hopefully the second one's better than this one, but it was good. Wasn't my favorite. I had a lot of those this year. The next read is actually a reread. The next three is Good Girls Guide to Murder. I read this again for I listened to the audiobook of it like 2 or 3 times before, and then I read it again with the actual physical book, and I annotated the whole thing. I probably underlined half of this book. It was crazy, but I loved it so much. I love this series. So this is the first one by Holly Jackson. It's about a teenage girl who's in high school, and she's getting her senior capstone project, and so she decides to write about a case that was supposedly closed 5 years ago about somebody in her town dying or disappearing, and she tries to solve this murder. Her name's Pippa, which is a fun name, and they're also coming out with a series. I can't wait for the show to come out. Hopefully they do really well. So that's the first book. Then we have Percy Jackson. This is also a reread. This is the first one. I did this because the show of this one's also coming out. No, it is out, but we only have 3 episodes, or 4. When this video comes out, there'll be 4 episodes. Isn't that fun? I also annotated this. I probably also underlined probably like 3/4 of this book because I just love it so much. Percy Jackson is so good. Rick Riordan is such a good writer, and he makes these so fun, even though, yeah, they're just really good. The next is the Good Girls Guide to Murder second book, Good Girl Bad Blood. And this one I also annotated a lot of it. This book is really good. I loved the plot. I liked how it was slightly different from the first one, but there were also ties between the two. And the mystery, the mysteries in all 3 of these books. There's a third, As Good as Dead. I haven't reread that yet. But the mysteries in all 3 of these are so good. They're so fun to read and try and figure out. Even though I've listened to these 3 times, I still forgot a lot of the main things that happen in it. So it was really fun rereading it. So lastly, I think my favorite book, possibly, of this year is, and the last book that I read. I actually finished it on New Year's Eve, and I'm very happy about that. The last book is Fourth Wing. I finally finished it. It's a long book, and the words, there's way too many words on each page. There's like, who gave you the right to put this many words on a page? So it took me a while to read, but yeah, this book was really good. It's about a dragon rider college, kind of, where the main character, she didn't want to be part of this dragon rider college, but her mother forced her to, And so now she has to go through all these really dangerous trials and tests and hopefully get a good dragon that will not kill her. And then also, once you bond with a dragon, you get powers. So that's a really cool thing. But you have to get past, you have to make it out alive before you can get any powers, and you might still die after you get powers because a whole bunch of stuff. But this is a really cool book. It kept me interested the entire time. There was so much fun stuff going on. I never really got bored with this. It was just ongoing stuff, and it's the whole book is a year of college, of the dragon college. And the main character Violet going through all the different tests and stuff that she has to go through. And the end, oh my word, is so good. They had to go, there was this unexpected test. It was really good. It was also sad. and the very end, like literally the last word or sentence was a plot twist, I guess. Yeah, a plot twist. And I didn't think it was coming. I did not see it coming. And yeah, so this book was really good. I recommend it. Definitely, probably more the older age, 15 and up or 16 and up. I'm almost 16, so it counts. But yeah, this is really good. So that was all the books I read in 2023. I can't wait for the new reads I have in 2024, which is weird. I feel like that came way too quickly. Thanks for watching. Make sure to subscribe and smash the like button and hit the bell button so you get notified every time we post new videos. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you guys next week. Bye.